So technically, my identity was stolen today at an estate sale. I found this estate sale in Franklin, Tennessee. I had seen some of these pictures of framed patches, photographs, some medals and stuff that were obviously World War II. I personally like to go to estate sales and find items like this to do research on them, figure out who the person was, and if I can, get copies or the original items back to the family members or utilize it for educational purposes. Recently, a lot of estate sale military items that I had found over the years, I was utilizing at the display at the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair. So I tried to utilize a lot of these for educational purposes. Got to the estate sale. It started at 10 o'clock. Got there about 10 minutes early when they let us in. I found the items, which were two frames with patches and the photograph of a soldier inside of it. And also in front of it was what I believe to be a World War II bayonet. It could have been an item that was a bring back item from the soldier in the photograph, so I figured I'd go ahead and purchase that as well too. At a lot of these estate sales, it's very common for a holding table. That way, while people continue to look around, they have to carry a bunch of things in their arms. So I put these items, which were kind of cumbersome, on the table. The estate sale folks that work for the estate sale company were super helpful and super nice. They took my name, put it on the table, and I continued to shop around. I found a couple other little items, and a couple minutes later, and I went to go check out. And when I did that, the lady ringing everybody up, she asked me if that was everything I found, and I said, well, I have some items on the whole table. The name is Jeff. She turns around, and the items are not there. And she asked me, what were the items? And I told her the picture frames with the World War II patches, and she goes, well, somebody just rang up here, and they said their name was Jeff, and I sold the items.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
I said, ma'am, that was not me. So, some gentleman felt it was okay to see the items that I guess he probably wanted on the holding table and told the folks that he was me, which was not true. And so he purchased the items and quickly left. That was a new experience for me. I have not experienced anything like that. It was no way could have been a misunderstanding. Obviously, the person did not pick the items up and put them on the whole table and talk to the estate sale folks and tell them what his name was. He obviously saw the item that he wanted and saw it was on the whole table and decided to lie and say his name was my name and purchase the item. So, unfortunately, those items are now possibly lost forever. The family's history is probably lost forever. However, as frustrating as that is, and I could not believe that someone would be that selfish, I was still able to do some research. And I found out who was in the photograph. His name was Harold James Limouze, born in Huntington Station, New York in 1920 to Harry and Magdalene Limouze, who operated a jewelry store. His great-grandfather, Jean Limouze, had immigrated to the United States from France in 1860. Harold spent his life in Huntington and graduated from Huntington High School in the early 1940s. With the onset of World War II, Harold enlisted in the United States Army and served as a sergeant in the 94th Chemical Mortar Battalion. In 1942, he married Edna Horn. 7 months into their marriage, the Army deployed Harold overseas. While Harold was overseas, Edna would have their first child. While he was with the 94th Chemical Mortar Battalion, he would receive a Bronze Star for his meritorious actions in combat. Being a leader, a sergeant, platoon leader, putting in artillery to help support infantry attacks in Germany in 1945. After the war, Harold returns home, began his career as an educator. In 1947, he would become a teacher at Sayville High School as a science teacher and also coached the freshman football team. In 1967, he becomes the principal of the high school and retired in 1975 after 28 years in education. I was able to find some Facebook posts that talked about his career as an educator, and the comments from people who were either teachers that worked for him or students generally described him as a well-liked teacher, someone who's very professional, very kind, and wonderful to work with, and was a very inspirational teacher. I also found where he had volunteered at a local maritime museum, enjoyed doing programs. So not only was he an aspect of an educator and a teacher, he also was a bit of a historical interpreter as well, which is someone after my own heart. Even though these items that showed off his military career during World War II are lost or possibly lost into obscurity, we can still talk about his history and who he was and share his story.